everybody, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio and to the second day of my catalog kickoff. So, I messed a little bit with today's card because I did want to try to get a celebration item on it, and I will show you. I guess I moved it out of the way. I will show you where I started with it because you could make it work with the celebration item, but the colors and kind of what was in my head wasn't working. So it's just a mini catalog card, but come back on Thursday. There's so much in the celebration catalog, and I know that it's easy for you to pick free paper, and I will, by the end of celebration, I will give you lots of ideas to use all of the products in here. So don't feel like you can't pick one because you haven't seen something with it. I will give you some ideas. It's just not on this card. So right now for celebration, it does run through the end of February, and it has started. So everything in this catalog that has an item number is free. It's either free with a $50 or free with a $100 purchase. And then there's this set in the back that if you gather orders together, or if you have one big order and it's $300, it all has to be placed at the same time, then that's a free set. And also, if you join my team during this time period, you get to pick $125 worth of whatever you want from this catalog or the annual catalog. And it's $99 plus tax. There's no shipping charge. And then you get to pick 2 free stamp sets from this or the annual catalog and just add those at the end completely, no cost at all. No shipping, no tax, no nothing, just free. And then I have a bunch of team perks. We have a great fun team. We're from east to west, north to south, all over the United States. So we do a lot of online stuff. We have a good Facebook community. So if you have any questions about that, celebration is on. So if you need the catalog, that one or this one, let me know. If you're in the US and nobody else has sent you one, I'd be happy to. They're free of charge. So for this one, I am going to show you a really fun set. It's called Seize the Day. Ocean sets. After I picked this one, and then I thought, well, yesterday's was kind of a water one too. It's a spring catalog, so we're jumping into that spring season. So it's another lovely sunny day. It's still in the 20s Fahrenheit here. But I guess I'm just longing for a beach day, longing for some water. But this one's really fun. It's a great bundle, and what drew me to it, I mean, the artwork is fun. I do like the one that says "Seize the Day." I'm going to use the one that says "Wishing you oceans of happiness," and then also "Thanks from the depths of my heart." I like this. The art that's on it, but the dies are fabulous. So we're going to use the dies. I'm not going to use all the dies. I'll show you the ones in here. See all these that I'm not using. So there's still a bunch of them that I didn't even use the starfishes at all. I didn't use, I think, the octopus die and then the bubbles. And then the jellyfish die still in there. So let's get going with the card. It might look like, if you saw the little sneak, it might look like it's going to take a long time. Trust me, it doesn't take very long at all. And it's super fun to put together. So I've got pool party, because water. And then a piece of white cardstock, the mother of pearl, if you saw my van card from yesterday, and then some window sheet. So let's stamp first. So I'm going to stamp, and this is cut maybe 4 by 5. It's a little bit smaller because we're going to use it for the background, and I wanted to be able to mount my frame around it. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to start with my words because the die on this cuts a frame, and so I want to make sure that my words are kind of in the center of the frame, and it just is in like the center of the card. So still haven't put my stickers on. So a lot of times we get to my first in-person event and there's still no stickers because I'm always in a hurry and stickers just take time. So that's kind of just, I know from how the die works that's about where I want it to be. So wishing you oceans of happiness. Then I just picked sea-ish colors. I mean, what's the color of the sea, right? Kind of ones that we just associate with the sea. So I have some mint, and then I've got the sea plant. So I'm going to ink it first, full strength, and I'm just going to let it be kind of at the bottom of my card. So I'm going to stamp off and kind of go down. And then once more, I'm going to get this over here and kind of full strength and just kind of fill that until it goes away. So that kind of fills in the bottom. And then I have a flirty flamingo. And so for that, I have the crab. I think that when I was done, I was kind of like, I guess they're a little mermaid-ish. I don't know where I got my sea colors from. And I re-inked this one, so I'm going to make sure it's not super inky. They were a little bit faded. So let's put our crab there. And then we have, and I guess I didn't pull out another piece of scrap. Let's do the octopus in freesia. So the frame's just going to kind of frame it. And I did stamp it once and I didn't like how it was on the frame. So if you could see my other card, I just flipped it over and did it again. So both of those are used now. And then I have all my little schools of fish, and I did those in pale papaya. I didn't want them in a super bright color because I didn't want them to be like, oh, there's fish. So pale papaya is a nice, I'm trying to find a white piece of cardstock because I forgot I needed one that I'm going to punch out. So there's 2 fish, and there's also 2 fish dies, so you can have schools of fish going both ways. So we'll get this one down here, and this is also going to be the one that I'm going to cut out. So we'll have these go down here, and I just kind of stamped them again till they stamped off. That way it looks like they've got some depth to them. Get one over here. And then we'll flip this one around the other way. And then these guys go this way. Pale papaya is a pretty light color, so you don't get a whole lot of stamping off with it. When you use something like blackberry, you can stamp a whole lot of times. So it looks pretty good. And then there's some bubbles. And there's, like I said, there's several stamps that I didn't even use. But we'll get the bubbles I'm going to do in Pool Party, because that's the color of our card and kind of the watercolor. I'm just going to kind of at first fill in full strength where there's the holes. I don't want it to go full strength over my words or over any of the big art. And now I can stamp off. And a lot of this edges, you're not going to see it. So now I can use that to be where I stamp off. And just kind of fill it with bubbles. Get one more. So that's all the stamping. So you don't even really need the dies if you don't have a die cut machine. This is one of those really cute little stamp sets that you don't have to have the dies. But if you have the dies, they're super fun. Let me trim this out because I didn't need this big of a piece. We're just going to cut this out with a little fish die. Now let's get these over here. This card, like I said, looks like it takes a ton of time and it just goes together so quickly. And it's, if you have like a Little Mermaid fan, and Moana, there's so many of those fun little cartoon, like hero kind of things that take place in the sea and who doesn't love a good ocean card, right? So this is the frame. I'm gonna do it first. I'm gonna put it through so it doesn't go through speed bumps, so kind of turn it a little bit. I still have my video to edit of using my dies. So it is coming if you follow my channel and the how-to videos. You know, taking time off just kind of gets in the way. So look how fun this is. Pop this out. This is an operation game. There we go. So now you can see how it cuts this fun frame. So this will lay, now our design will be behind that. So now I'm going to take this. If you want, you can save these for a shaker card, the bubbles, and put them, or even put adhesive on the back and use those. I'm not going to. I'm just going to wipe them off. Some of them are going to stay on the back. Now I have the mother of pearl, and this has a big piece of seagrass. I'm going to stick this on here, and I just hand trimmed. Anytime I have specialty cardstock, I don't necessarily want to put it in a block unless I'm using the frame, because you waste all that. And so just put it exactly where it needed to be. Now we've got this little fish. Put that there. And then this is what cut out from the middle, so I'm just going to take a piece of it. And then there's one last little die. Where did I put it? Here it is. Oh, another piece of seagrass. So put that on there. Now I'm going to put this on. I want to make sure that my fish doesn't move. The other two can move because they're not cutting anything out. Not a stamped image, so they can move wherever, and just as long as they stay on the paper, they're fine. Both of these just take one pass through. You can tell when you have your heat on if you're someplace where it's 22 degrees because it makes everything kind of staticky in your house. So, you know, sometimes you have the problem of the stuff flying away when you take it off. Right now, everything has some static electricity. So now I'm gonna take, it's called bark, so it's our bark folder, but I think it also gives kind of a water impression. So first I'm gonna put this in here, and this is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's cut full card size, and this is a 3D, so it takes the gray plate. This one through. And then the piece that really makes this card fun and a little extra special is my window sheet. And you can just put it on like that and it kind of gives the illusion of water, but it really does if you put it in here. So I'm gonna put it in here. And you can see how this is kind of warping, which we talked about in the folder video. I'm gonna flip it upside down just so it goes through opposite way. Since it's warping a little bit, just push it down the other direction. It doesn't do anything different to how it goes through making the impression on your paper. But see, now it just kind of has that water feel to it. And I've used this a few times on different, I like the water kind of stamps, the sea life. So I've done that technique before. So let's fold this in half. This is just a half sheet of Pool Party cardstock. Now we just need to layer it all together. So I'm gonna start with my background piece. And you're gonna see why I cut it a little bit smaller. It's just a little bit easier, I think, to kind of gauge where everything needs to go. So I'm gonna start with putting my adhesive all the way around the edges, which isn't gonna catch this piece, because remember, this is cut about 4 by 5. Now this in the middle is gonna catch that. And I like to use the seal, not the Seal Plus, because if I get anything on here crooked, I'll be able to pick it up real quick. So put this in the center, like that. And then I'm gonna take one more strip and put it around, because remember that frame's gonna cover up these edges. So put this around here. This card has some nice weight and body to it. It's not super heavy, so you could still mail it. Now I'm gonna put this on here. So this is cut 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so it's card size. It might be 4. I think I cut it 4 because the window sheet comes 12. It's a 12 by 12 piece. So if you cut it 4, you get more out. So cut that, put that on there. See, that's already fun. It just gives that a bit of a reflection of the water. Now I thought about raising this up, but you would have to use sticky strip all the way around, and it doesn't really need it. So on this one, again, just put this around the edge. Some of the adhesives don't stick well to the window sheet, but the seal does. And again, this is just a 1/4 sheet of cardstock, so it's just gonna line right up perfectly on there. So we've got that. Isn't that fun? So super simple. Wasn't that easy? I know some of you saw the card, like, because you can see it from the thumbnail, or you've already seen it online and you thought, oh, that looks like it's really hard. Now here's our pretty mother of pearl. I'm just gonna take, where to put my, this works well. When you have your dimensionals and you have this little space, once you've used some, it works as a great little area to put adhesive because it resists. Just gonna put some down here on the little stem. And then just down here. See, my little guy right here on this one could have been a little lower, but it's okay. It's just a sea life aquarium kind of thing. If you're having a birthday party at the zoo, because all kids love that, or retirement party, When I was still working and at my last job, I got to be the party planner. It wasn't part of my job, like my official job, but you know, somebody had to plan the parties. And when you're already the card lady, it kind of just is a natural fit. So the last giant Christmas party we did was at our Indianapolis Zoo, which is fabulous. And the aquarium there is awesome. So I'm just sticking these kind of down in where these holes are. And that just kind of gives that a little bit of lift outside the frame, and they match. And then I'm going to take my little fishy. Last time I used the small ones. Will this fit? It does. So now we have a little bit more. This little guy's escaped. Another good, this you could do the colors in a much more bright color palette, and those would be good for your Finding Nemo fans. You could do them in a much darker palette for all those Jaws fans in your life. So now we have this, and then we have a ton of them. And the opal rounds, if you already have those came out with, those are with the shell stuff that's in the annual catalogs. These are new. These are in the Valentine iridescent rhinestones, I think they're called. They're in the new catalog. So they also work well, and they look more like bubbles. The ones that are in with the opal rounds kind of look like pearls, like if you found one in an oyster. But these look like kind of like bubbles. So I added those kind of up with my fish. And I did do 5. You want to do an odd number whenever you add embellishments. So I did the 3 up here that were bubbles, but then I thought they kind of needed a little bit of fun down there. How easy was that? I know some of you are thinking, well, I could do that. After you thought, oh, that's a cute card, but I don't think I could do it. This one, you can see my jellyfish a little bit better. And maybe that a little bit better too. Because when I talk, I'm not really thinking as much. But you get, I mean, obviously whoever gets the card knows that it is an aquarium. And when I did it myself and I wasn't talking to y'all, you just take your frame and hold it back over it. That was why I flipped it over. And you can kind of, I didn't stamp with my frame over the top of it, but I had cut my frame out, because let me show you why. This paper is the celebration paper. And this is where I started. I just didn't like the color with the colors that I had already picked the colors to stamp with, and it was easier to switch the paper than it was to clean my stamps and get new stamp colors. So that's the honest truth. But this paper, this would be good for the Finding Nemo. This would even be good if you do reds, like Real Red and maybe Daffodil Delight and some of the brighter colors for like a Little Mermaid card, but it just didn't work with the color palette that I started. So I already had this cut out, so as I stamped my second one over here, then I was able to lay it here and kind of make sure the stuff was in the focal point. So do that. Don't talk at your phone and not really look at your card when you do your second one. And you can center your things a little bit better. So that is Seize the Day. I am going to try to get a couple more cards up. I have one more try it card that I have to get done. I would like to say that as far as the mini catalog and you know, this fabulous shipping issue world that we live in, some of the ribbons are already on back order. Now, for try it class, I'm going to redesign a card because it probably has too much ribbon. The white frayed ribbon, and it was my favorite ribbon, and so I've already used a bunch of it. So I couldn't order it, and it was also the ribbon that I had picked, and that's why I've also used it for my card club. For card club, I was able to switch it. My second choice ribbon was also gone because the denim goes with the paper, so that ribbon is gone. This ribbon is gone. For try it class, I already had enough that I can make it work. The frayed ribbon will be a much smaller piece than what I had intended to be on the card, but I did have enough spools that I can make it work with what I was able to get for my daughter. This one I'd already designed, and because it came in for like one day and then it was gone again for pre-order, so I knew that it was going to be an issue, so I was able to make that work a little bit. And then the denim card is the one that I have not designed yet. So if you dyes, ribbons, and punches are the things that tend to go on back order quickly. And now that we don't do back order, you just can't order them. You just have to wait for them to come back in. So if you're waiting on placing your order and you have those 3 things on your wish list and they're like high up on your wish list, I would not wait. I would place your order sooner rather than later. But I have that one last card to design, and then I'm going to place my second order. I went ahead and placed it. It was not very well organized. because I placed my first one without everything on it, but to get the things that I knew that had a chance of running out. So happy shopping. Happy new catalog day the 2nd, because I always do my catalog kickoff over 2 days, and I will catch you back here again later this week.